Hey mountain biking friends, welcome to Gunnison County, Colorado. Wait, did I say mountain biking? Yes. Yes, I did. Don't let the snow fool you here in Gunnison County. I know it's something that you see very often, but not usually on the 8th of September. This is one of the earliest snows that dropped here right on top of our mountain biking trip. We are here with a handful of really great mountain biking brands, some new starters, some innovators, one of which is Sherpa, which is the bike I'm riding right here, and we'll hear more about that later. We also have an Croatian e-bike company called Greyp, and we'll talk to them in a little bit as well. Getting here yesterday though from Boulder was a pretty hairy experience. I was really glad to be in the Nissan Titan XD, a truck I'm testing, and rolling up and over Monarch Pass. There were moments of it being totally whited out where we're staying up at Mount Crested Butte. Had the plows out, and anyway, there's a lot of that going on. That evening, however, we did get a chance to hear from a few of the brands, Greyp being one of them. We also heard about TerraQuest. So let's talk to TerraQuest and hear more about that app. I'm gonna get my breath. Okay, so I'm here with Derek Nirenberg, who is the co-founder of TerraQuest, a mountain bike trail specific app.
Trail navigation app.
Trail Nav app. Tell us a bit more about that.
We specialize in four things. Crowdsourcing of routes, adding audible turn-by-turn navigation to routes, and then adding leaderboards to them.
Yeah, and what was the inspiration behind all this?
Getting lost. Monumentally lost in Colorado.
Nothing will inspire building a map app more than not knowing if you're getting home for dinner that night.
Yeah, something like that.
And tell me a little bit how this app differentiates from other similar apps on the market.
Audible turn-by-turn navigation.
And that just means that, like, kind of like how Google will talk you through left and right turns in the car.
We're not as fancy as Google.
Okay.
There are basically two different approaches to building audible turn-by-turn route navigation. Well, three. One is artificial intelligence or machine learning. Two is hand building routes, and three is a combination of the two. We opted for the handcrafted audible turn-by-turn navigation because you can get it to work reliably 100% of the time. So you can participate in TerraQuest leaderboards and routes by syncing your Strava account, your Garmin account, or your Fitbit account to TerraQuest, and everything will automatically sync trails.
Cool. And of course, it, like everything, a lot of the apps out there, the maps are all downloadable. So if you're offline, doesn't care, you got the map with you.
Yep, audible navigation and the maps work offline. Cool,
man. Well, thanks for your innovation. I'm looking forward to checking it out.
Thanks a lot for the opportunity to speak with you. I appreciate it.
You bet.
All right.
All right, gang, so this morning we came down valley from Crested Butte to Gunnison, where we swung by Western Colorado University, where they have something called the Ice Labs. And that is where Craig and his crew with Hustle Bike Labs, my lips are a little frozen, are based there. And Craig, tell us what you guys are doing there in the lab.
We are working on a new pedal system. The Rim Tech is what we're calling it from here on out. We utilize neodymium magnets in a pedal system to kind of bring the attributes of a clipless pedal and a flat pedal together.
So what do we got here? Talk to us what we've got. We've got a magnet here.
Yeah, we've kind of gone with the traditional platform pedal. Yep. For comfort and stability and whatnot. But what we've done is we've designed a body in the middle, similar to a clipless pedal where you have it in the middle, but we're using neodymium magnets, and the pull force of these two magnets is 128 pounds of pull force.
Wow.
For each pedal.
Let me see the bottom of your foot there so we can see the plate that's on here. Yeah, so all it is, it goes right into an SPD mount on any SPD shoe as long as it has enough clearance in the sole there.
Send it.
and then it just pops right on. So show us how that.
So one thing we've done here is you can pretty much where you put your foot on the pedal, you can adjust the strength of the pedal. But one thing you can do is while you're pedaling, you can adjust your foot. So if you get into a techie area, rock garden or something like that, and you got to dab your foot, you can just roll off and then you can step right back on. You don't have to find the sweet spot, especially on a climb. How many times have we gone up a climb, slip a back wheel, lose our momentum, got to clip out? Well, this you can dab and then back at
and be back in. Yeah, so if you lift your foot straight up, you can show us how you'll just back pedal a little bit and it totally sticks on there. And all you gotta do is roll your foot a little bit, break that north-south polar plane of the magnet, and you're free and clear. Riding on this mixed medium snow, mud, slick, there's plenty of opportunity that you need to put your foot down, and without even thinking about it, without even like, oh, I need to move my heel out so I pop out, or I didn't move my heel out so now I'm laying in the snow and the mud. It works seamlessly. Yeah. So Craig, this is what iteration of your invention is this, would you say? Like you've been doing this is 4 years or so in the works?
Yes.
Is this your first to market version?
It is. I've been working on it. Really, the thought process started in 2015 from a situation in Moab that made me dive deep into.
Right, and you had a pretty bad accident, and that was a real sort of like moment of like, this is not the way.
Yeah. Necessity is the mother of invention. So
especially when it's close to death.
So, you know, our whole goal was here's a simple system that's user friendly for a beginner. You know, to give them that advantage of the connection, make the ride better,
and not have to fight for it.
Right, and you know, and then to a pro, you know, who's hucking cliffs and
staying on their pedals.
And we're also working with we got a shoe in the work.
Okay, so your own native shoe, but you know, we're in these North Wave shoes, and they clipped right in there, and they'll work on, like I said, most any SPD shoe will pop that right in there. Well, Craig, thanks so much for your innovation, man. It's really makes it for a fun ride. It takes one of the fights out of the event, you know, and just kind of dials the fun factor up a little more.
I appreciate it, Cameron.
Thank you. Okay, we also heard from Sherpa Bikes. You guys are focusing mostly on the enduro build. This is Bradley, founder, starter, got it all going, inspirationalist. Tell us where it all came from.
Well, the name Sherpa really says it all. We really want to be leaders in the pack of the whole mountain bike industry. We want to make, you know, more personal bikes the trend, and we want to bring down the price on those. Have that be the initial, like, what you relate spec builds to be on a custom bike that's unique to you. And these first models are called the Everest. We called it that because getting the bike started, proving the concept of a new style is the biggest mountain we have to climb.
So tell us a bit about like what's unique about your guys' bikes.
Well, everyone that's ridden them has said they're super balanced, super fun to ride. Short rear end makes them fast, planted in corners, super fun in the air. And you know, what makes them really special is the fact that all of them are custom, all of them are personalized to whoever's ordering them, whether it be color, components.
And so the whole concept is you can go online and just like pick the colors. You said you had like
640 combos of color and decal color, and there's 2 finishes, so that'll come in gloss or metallic, and then matte.
And tell us about the different kind of components you can get on this.
We have about 20 different companies involved. The end goal is to have the largest price range possible and the largest parts range possible. And so, you know, you can pick everything from, you know, ceramic or steel headsets to bottom brackets to different cassettes and derailleurs. I mean, it's really personalized in every aspect.
Well, I can tell you from just our short experiences here at Hartman Rocks in Gunnison that super fun ride. If the mud is any indication, both on the bike, Bradley's kind of covered. I think I've got some stuck on my glasses here. Super fun ride. Would love to get out on it, take him on some longer, bigger rides. It'd be super fun. But Bradley, thanks for all your innovation and getting it going, man. It's a hard market to get into, and we're here to support you getting to it.
Awesome.
Okay, gang, so after reviewing our footage on Greyp, talking to Nick earlier when we were on site, the microphones for the GoPro was totally clogged with mud. And they are putting together these after that amazing ride. So we're redoing this now. Nick Sims with Greyp Bikes out of Croatia, an eMountain bike company. And these are fully loaded, like, tell us about them, Nick. They're so amazing.
They are. I mean, this is probably the most technological, can't even say it, I've got mud in my mouth or something from yesterday, full of tech features, put it that way. These bikes have mapping, they have heart rate assist, and you're like, what's that? Like, the bike will detect your heart rate and either increase or decrease the amount of assistance that the engine gives you, depending on the levels you set. So like anti-theft, someone steals my bike, I can pull up the app, know where it is, and turn the camera on.
So this is like one of the cameras built into the headlights here?
Exactly, there's a front camera and a rear camera.
Yep.
And they had a bike stolen from Croatia, turned the camera on a month later, found it in Serbia, and then gave all the information to the police and live streamed the thief getting caught by the cop. I mean, the bike in general, it's a 700 watt hour battery. A lot would go to 500 to 600, so 700 just gives you more range. And they've got 3 models. This is the 6.2. There's a 6.1. So the 1 and the 2 run class 1, so they're limited to 20 miles an hour of assistance. After that, it's all on these things. And then the 6.3 is 28 miles an hour of assistance, and then after that it's on you. That's a class 3. The system is MPF. They work with MPF for the battery, I mean the motor system here. It's a fully metal gear system inside, enclosed with oil, so it's fully waterproof. You've got dropper posts, you've got the front and rear lights.
There's a screen,
So
gives
the
you
screen and the bars up the side. I don't know if you can see that,
Yep.
but when I press the plus, that's my levels of assistance going up or coming down.
Yep.
With the other toggle button here, I can change the screen, what it shows you. And to your point, the Android app really is the one that is full of features. The Apple iOS one right now is still getting built on. They keep adding to it, and that's probably about 6 to 8 months before it's going to be the same as the
okay,
the
so
Android.
early 2021 we're looking at.
I would think so, yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, this bike was an absolute blast. I've never had so much fun going uphill, not having to huff and puff. You know, down in Gunnison, we're at what, 7,000 or 8,000 feet. Even coming from Boulder, that was a noticeable thinner air environment, and super fun. Cool, Nick. Well, thanks very much. We are wrapping up this event, and we're gonna roll in to learn more about Archer. I think Scott's gonna tell us about that, and then out of here.
Cool.
Thanks,
Thank you
man.
very much. See ya.
Cheers. Okay, gang, so we are back at the house. We are dried off after that crazy hailstorm that came through that at Hartman Rocks, and got back up here, cleaned up and everything. But the last thing that we wanted to show was these electronic shifters from Archer Components. Is that the right name?
Archer Components, yep.
This is Scott with Archer Components. He's gonna run us through it a little bit. Tell us what's going on. What do we got going on here?
All right, so the basic system here, the Archer Components D1X, it's called. That is a system that will transform any bike into electronic shifting, wireless electronic shifting system.
And this is the system, in short,
yeah, okay.
right? Like those are the pieces
Yeah,
that
so
we're
this
looking
is
at.
what we call the shifter, actually,
Yeah.
and this is what we call the remote.
Got it.
Confuses some people, but that's what we got.
And that's all you're buying?
That's all you're buying.
And then-
it comes with a small piece of cable and housing.
Okay.
To replace the one you have. So once you've pulled out your other stuff, nothing happens to your old product. You can just put that in a drawer and leave.
So all the like, if you have inline cabling for the shifting, that all comes out.
All of that goes out, which ends up saving some weight. This is actually heavier than the shifter, so it counters it.
The remote from this remote to here is wireless.
Is wireless. So from here back, there's nothing. The only cable now is right here. That gets a signal from this remote Bluetooth wireless. It makes a connection with one and only. You can change it anytime or pair with others, but once it pairs, that's it. And so that guy, you can maybe see the little light here. When I press it, it makes a little green light, right? And that means it's shifted. So if you go down to the derailleur, you can watch what happens when I press it. So I'm going to shift to an easier gear. I'm going to shift 2 to a harder gear.
There it goes. You can see it blinking on this end too. Cool. And so that's it. And why does someone need this? Why would someone put this on their bike instead of just leaving the cables?
That's one of the most common questions. Like, we'll get doubters who say, "Well, I don't need electronic shifting. I don't really want it. I don't need something fancy." It's not just that it's an easier and more precise shift. Oh, I got a little water coming out. It's not just that it's an easier and precise shift. It's also that you can tune out, because of the way this is adjusted, you can tune out kind of small defects. We've all had that where we're riding our bike and one gear just keeps popping a little and you're twisting the bar, your barrel adjuster. The problem with that is that's changing every shift because it's the cable. Here, you're just adjusting each shift between from cog to cog. And it has the ability to micro tune up to 0.5 millimeters each way.
I think the one thing you showed me earlier, though, the Get Me Home gear, tell me about that.
Get Me Home is my favorite. So people always ask, well, what if the batteries die? First of all, there's 60 to 80 hours of battery life in this under normal use, which is normal amount of shifting. So it's probably not going to die. But it could. That does happen. So Get Me Home gear, you pre-program the the cog on which you want to return. So in other words, let's say you're doing a long downhill ride and you know that at the end you turn around and you have to ride back. It's all uphill. If your battery dies on a traditional electronic shifting system, you're stuck in that gear. This, the last thing it does before it powers down is automatically shifts to the gear that you have pre-programmed, any of the 12 in this case, speeds. So I would program it maybe up here somewhere so I could climb home nice and easily. Yeah. And you're not stuck out there. You still only have one speed. That's just electronic shifting.
Yeah.
And then the other thing on here is fun. You can program how many you want to do in what we call the multi-shift. So if you press and hold, just like on a trigger, you press 1, 2, 3 clicks, you get 3 gears. This will do anywhere up to 5. So you press and hold and it'll jump either 5 one way or 5 the other, or 4, 3, 2, 1.
That's the Archer Components electronic shifter system. Thanks, Scott, for pointing that out to us. And thanks for this great trip. We have seen a lot of really great, innovative mountain biking gear, and we got to try a lot of it out, from the Sherpa bikes to the Greyp bikes, the Hustle pedals, and the Archer system. All kinds of neat stuff coming down the pipe for mountain bikers, so check that out if that's your thing. What I wanted to close with, though, was the first night we were here, we had a filmmaker come by who's been working on a film about Crested Butte's mountain biking history. 1975 or so, I think, is when things kind of got going. He's done a lot of research. Mike Horn is his name. He showed us the film. It's a 15-minute film. We can't show the film because he's taking it to festivals, but we do have the trailer. So I'm gonna leave you with the trailer. We're gonna go get some dinner. Thanks for checking it out, and we'll see you next time we're off yonder.
Mountain biking never brought me fame or fortune like many of the folks I met during the years of invention and the decades that followed. For the people I rode with from the beginning, it was never about anything more than having a good time. In one revolution, it became bigger than any one of us, any company, or any place on the map. It always was. We just pushed our bikes up a little higher than the rest. But I'm glad I was there when it happened, when the wheels started turning and everything was new and done just for the fun of it. When every ride was a journey into the unknown. When you didn't know if your Frankenstein bike would survive the ride, and you didn't care. Every time I think about those early rides, rallying my clunker down a mountain pass, with the sun setting on my back, and a future full of possibility down the road, I can't help but smile and shake my head. And then I go ride my bike.